All right, let's talk about a core frustration for pretty much anyone running a business. We're going to dive into a framework from Professor Alexander Chernev that tackles this head on. You know exactly who your perfect customer is, but how do you actually find them without blowing your entire budget? Let's get into it.
I mean, this is the classic problem, isn't it? You've built this amazing product, something that perfectly solves a real need for a very specific group of people. But connecting your brilliant solution to that group and doing it effectively and affordably, well, that's the real challenge we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so to really crack this, we have to start with a critical distinction that, honestly, a lot of people just gloss over. And that's the difference between strategic and tactical targeting. They might sound similar, but they answer two totally different and equally important questions.
Think of it this way. Strategic targeting is your why. It's about choosing the battlefield, identifying that group of customers whose needs you can serve better than anyone else. Tactical targeting, on the other hand, is your how. That's all about choosing your weapons, the most effective, most cost-efficient ways to actually communicate with and deliver your product to that group you've already chosen.
So this is where the rubber really meets the road. Tactical targeting is the bridge, It connects this invisible, abstract idea of a customer's need to the real world, observable data points that define them. This is how we start to build that all-important customer profile. I mean, just think about it. You can't actually see someone's need for travel rewards, right? It's an internal desire. But what you can see are the clues that point to that need. And when you gather all those clues together, that's your customer profile. So what are those clues? Well, this slide breaks down the 4 essential building blocks in your toolkit. You've got demographics, the basic who, you add geography, the where, then you layer on behavior, the what they're actually doing, and finally, my favorite, psychographics, the why behind all their actions. It's the mix of all 4 that gives you that incredible targeting power. Okay, so let's go back to that travel rewards credit card. Your target profile isn't just people who make a lot of money. No way. It's a precise combination. They have the income, they live in a city, their actions show they travel, and their interests suggest they value those kinds of experiences. See how each layer gets you closer and closer to the bullseye? But, and this is a huge but, here is the trap. This is where so many smart, well-intentioned marketing strategies just completely fall apart. It is so easy to fall in love with your beautifully crafted profile and totally forget the underlying need it was supposed to represent in the first place. Seriously, just think about it. The demographic label millennial is massive. Do all millennials want the same soft drink? Of course not. And on the flip side, you can find diehard Pepsi fans in every single generation, from Gen Z all the way to boomers. A profile by itself can be really misleading. Now, this right here is a game-changing insight. If Pepsi only targets a profile, say people who drink carbonated soft drinks, their main competitor is Coke. Simple. But what if they target the underlying need to quench thirst? Whoa. Suddenly their competitive landscape just exploded to include bottled water, juice, iced tea, coffee, the whole shebang. Focusing on need instead of profile completely redefines your strategy. And this brings us to what is pretty much the golden rule of targeting, straight from Professor Chernev. You have to start with the value you create for the customer. The profile isn't the point. It's just the map you use to find the people who are desperately looking for that value. So really, your success all comes down to the overlap. How well does your profile, the people you can see, match up with the customer need you're trying to solve? Sometimes it's a great fit, like targeting teenagers for their first razor. The overlap is super high. But for a car, age is a terrible predictor. People in the same age group need wildly different things, so the overlap is low, making that profile pretty unreliable. All right, so with this whole framework in mind, how do we evaluate what we're already doing? How can you tell if you're operating with the precision of a sniper rifle or just making a whole lot of noise with a shotgun? Well, it boils down to asking yourself 2 very simple but brutally honest questions. First, on effectiveness. Are we reaching all the people we should be? And second, on cost efficiency. Are we wasting money reaching people we shouldn't be talking to at all? The dream, of course, the absolute gold standard, is what Chernev calls sniper targeting. Every single dollar you spend, every message you send, lands perfectly with a customer you actually want. It's beautiful, it's efficient, and in the real world, it's incredibly rare to get it perfect. In reality, most of us fall into one of these three common traps. There's slice of the pie, which means you're being way too narrow and leaving money on the table. There's shot in the dark, meaning you're just completely off target. And then there's the shotgun approach, which is just too broad and burns through your resources.
That shotgun approach is so tempting because it feels comprehensive, right? But just picture it. Running a national TV ad for a really niche premium travel card. Sure, you'll hit some of your targets, but you are literally paying to interrupt millions and millions of people who have absolutely zero interest. It's the very definition of inefficiency.
So, the key idea we land on is this. True marketing precision isn't about having more data or fancier software. It's about the perfect alignment of your strategy and your tactics. You have to know who you're serving based on their needs, and then find the how to reach them through their observable profile. If you have one without the other, you're either flying blind or just setting money on fire.
So, as you head back to your week, back to your strategy meetings, I want you to take that question with you. Take a hard, honest look at how you find your customers. Are you operating with the precision of a sniper or the broad, hopeful spray of a shotgun? Because answering that honestly, well, that could change everything.